Welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Sidelines. With us today, we have athlete Trevor Robinson, senior defensive end from Central Methodist from the NAIA, and as always, BSN correspondent Kerry Gibbs here to lead off the interview. Kerry, what do you got for us?
We have a monster of a defensive end today. Trevor Robinson, senior defensive end from Central Methodist. As you said, NAIA division, HHAC conference. And let me give you a little stat line about his season last year. He had 45 tackles, 16 of those for a loss, 11 sacks on the season. So he was quick. He was quick to correct me. He knew exactly how many he had, and that's the way it should be. But when we talk about 11 sacks on the season, that ranked you third in the NAIA in sacks. You were also 11th in tackle for loss. What are some of the keys to your production that led to such a great season?
It was mainly getting my fundamentals down a lot better and much more of anticipation, if anything. But I think beyond all else is probably knowing the playbook and getting my football knowledge down because, we have just a crazy defensive coordinator in Jody Ford, and I have a great defensive line coach in Gary Baker. Those guys they pound fundamentals into us every single day. Even if it does get boring or something like that, it's just so much. You can see the difference in the way we are actually productive on the field, and it's just a great team that they have together, and just a huge difference between coming in from freshman and not knowing the playbook and just trying to guess where you're supposed to be, and being a junior going into a senior, being a junior, and actually knowing the playbook ins and outs of it. And not only knowing your position, but knowing especially, I take responsibility myself to know my nose tackles responsibilities, my outside linebackers responsibilities, my corners responsibilities, and my free safety. I feel like it's my responsibility to actually, if they have a question, because communication is key to our defense. Because there's some kids that they don't even need to know the defense. I could just line them up, tell them where to go, and we can play off each other. I can play off them, and it'd be no problem. We can just keep it like that. But as far as my production last year, it's just the confidence that I got. Especially out of the seniors that we had last year, it was unbelievable. And now that I'm a senior this year, I feel like no matter what, they can put anybody with me on my side of the ball or on my defense. I feel like I can actually make them a better player as well as being productive myself.
Wow, it sounds like a great system. They got you prepared, it sounds like. Now, you're obviously you're really good at getting into the backfield. What are some of your go-to moves to get past the O lineman?
Well, we always focus on hand fighting. We focus on setting our guy up. If we do speed rush,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to end up, they're going to end up getting used to it. So if we see them getting on their heels, we can get to a bull rush, we can get to inside move. But I think one of the biggest factors is that I play off the quarterback. It's different seeing if there's a 5-step drop, and if I see my offensive lineman, he stops short, and I see the quarterback having his 5-step drop, and I see the offensive lineman at 2 yards. At 2 yards when the quarterback's at 5 yards, I'm not going to waste my time with the offensive lineman, and I would rather get his hands off, go around him, and get to the quarterback faster instead of having to deal with bull rush and inside moves and all other fancy stuff. I have pretty much already explained to my teammates, my coaches, and stuff like that, because some of my sacks are not the prettiest or whatever. But I definitely take pride in making things look ugly. But as long as I get to the quarterback, that's what my job is get there in 3 seconds or less.
Last time I checked, Trevor, they don't discuss how nice or ugly a sack. All that matters is that you get that check mark there, that sack was there. So this is going to be fun to watch. We're going to have to watch some of these games. We're going to have to revisit whether or not, me being a former kicker, I'm going to be sitting here critiquing, Trevor, that sack was, wasn't that pretty, or maybe it was too pretty and you didn't get ugly enough there.
sure. I mean, you can talk to my coach, Gary Baker, and the dude. I mean, I'm terrible at one-on-ones in practice. I mean, when it's just me and the offensive lineman, I don't know what it is, but I mean, everything just, there's so many more factors that go into actual gameplay that I can use and utilize to my advantage against an offensive lineman, as opposed to actually just one-on-ones in practice. Because I mean, if it was just one-on-ones in practice, I would just be absolutely terrible. So, and that's something that definitely I've been working on during the offseason. Hopefully it'll pay off in the season.
Trevor, let me ask you this: do you ever sit around with the linemen? Because I mean, back when I was in college, the offense and the defense didn't really hang out that much, especially in 2 days, because they hated each other. But do you sit there and discuss some of your tendencies with the offensive linemen to try to get into their minds, that because it seems like you're almost over prepared. You've really gotten into reading how the offensive lineman works. And do you sit back and say, hey guys, when it's a 2-step, 3-step, 5-step drop, what are you guys looking at from us? Are there things that maybe you've picked up from your offensive lineman that allows you to go into a specific game where they might say, hey, this offensive line does this, and you can be prepared for this kind of move or this run or this pass. Here's how you're going to get around them. Have they ever fed into any of your success?
As far as defensive line, my other defensive lineman?
Well, the offensive line helping you understand maybe what the offensive line's thinking and how you can get into their head.
I got you. Well, it was very we were definitely a different offense than other of the teams in our conference, just because we were more of a triple option offense.
Okay.
We didn't necessarily pass the ball that much, so it was a lot of play action, so their steps, the offensive lineman's steps as far as pass protection were completely different than an actual spread team or something like that. So,
gotcha.
Bo Amos, also one of your preseason honorable mention All-Americans. I talk to him all the time. I mean, I try to work with him as much as possible, because the kid, he's just he's producing ridiculously. He's a great kid, and his steps are ridiculous. He's been working a lot over the offseason and stuff. And I tell him, it's like, you know what, if you know that your quarterback has a 5-step drop and you only go this far, chances are the guy's just going to go around you. If he's actually knows what he's worth, the defensive end, and he knows how to get around you. But, we'll go back and forth, and we'll exchange information. Whatever it takes to get us better. I'll exchange. I hang out with our offensive guys all the time. And there's no hate. There's no hate. There's on the field, off the field. On the field, I couldn't care less for those guys. But then off the field, they're my best friends ever.
Right. True signs of a leader, and that's awesome. Just to get back into the mix. Like I said, I never played on the offensive line. I wasn't big enough, and neither did I want to. But it's just a different mentality. You guys are really in the trenches, as they say, and it's just interesting to get that insight.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. You have defensive line and offensive line broken down into a science. You could teach an entire class on what you just told us. I'm amazed about how intelligent you are of the game, and I think that's really spoken a lot about your production on the field as well. I'm just so impressed. Now, do you spend a lot of time in the film room? Is that where you develop, this intelligence about defensive, stuff on the defensive line, or how did that develop?
It's definitely on the field, but off the field, Coach Ford always has film readily available. I'm in there all the time. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a lot of film study. Even when we're not in meetings, I'm still in there, and I learn from different. I look at the NFL, and we have DVR and everything like that, so I'll play back. I'll piss off my parents sometimes, just or the kids that I'm at school with, just because I'll rewind a play probably 6 or 7 times. Just because I want to see how that guy did that, and then I'll rewind it a few more times back and see what he did. How did he do that to set that up, or the defensive end? Most likely Clay Matthews or DeMarcus Ware. Just the entire New York Giants defensive line, Justin Tucker, OCU Mura, all those guys. I mean, Jason Pierre-Paul, look at Jared Allen, just every single one of those guys. And Jody Ford, I mean, the dude has every single known VCR football tape known to man still. I mean, and all the resources are there, and it's just up to us to utilize all the resources and the tools that we have. And even while I'm here, I got all the film from last season. I've seen as many mistakes as I can count in one game alone against Mid-America, and just trying to I know who's coming back, and I know who's not, and definitely I know I'm just trying to guess as much as possible. It's like, okay, they lost their best tight end, and Juan Redmond, and so I'm wondering, okay, are they going to pass, or are they going to utilize the pass more? Are they I even looked at the recruits. I mean, I've seen that they brought in a tight end. I mean, I go beyond unnecessary things because I'm just paranoid like that. But I mean, I'm just really interested. I just want to see how these guys work. And I'm just trying to guess as much as possible. I know they got 2 stud running backs coming back, so I'm thinking that they're probably going to utilize a lot of run, maybe play action, not sure. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter as long as I have my keys and reads and fundamentals. I mean, as long as our whole defense has that, there's nobody that can stop us. But I mean, it's just a lot. It's just more of curiosity than anything.
As they say, chance favors the prepared, right?
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
I'll tell you what, Trevor, you're going to make somewhere down the line, you're going to make a excellent coach. So I don't know how long, it's going to be, but one of these days you are going to be the most prepared coach of all time. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, if you put in this many hours as a player, it's waiting for you. I'm telling you, it's waiting for you. Now, let's focus more on your team and the season you're going to have. You guys, you went 5-5 last year. What are some things that you were doing as a team to better yourselves and improve that record?
I've noticed a lot that it's not just us. A lot of teams like, oh, we got to win homecoming. Oh, this is a huge game for us. Or, oh, this guy is our rival. We got to kick their ass or something like that. Oh, excuse my language. But when I go into a game, I'm from California. So when I first got there, I had no idea who Missouri Valley was or Mid-America or Avila or Baker or anybody like that. So, I mean, I just went in there hating everyone equally. And that's basically how I try to keep it like in nowadays. I try to just keep an equal hatred for everybody. It's not like so what I'm basically getting at is that we put titles on games when that's just going to add more pressure to the kids. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe it's necessary. I mean, we could be going up against Mid-America or we can be going up against Avila. I'm going to treat it the exact same way. I just want to get to the quarterback. I want to make tackles for loss. I want to be protected for our team, and I want to make the other players better around me in doing so. And if that means I have to take on a double team, you know what, that's fine, because I know my nose tackle and Nio Seltry. I know my other defensive end, Tom Walker, Hunter Kelly. Those guys are monsters. And if they get one-on-one, if they get a chance to get on one-on-one with any offensive lineman, they'll tear them shreds. So I'm perfectly fine taking double team if that means that they have a chance to be productive and get their numbers and all that good stuff. But definitely the biggest thing I've seen out of everybody is that they get too hyped up. It's like, oh, we got to kill these guys. We got to kill these guys. I don't believe in overhyping for a game. I believe that I would go into a game like I would go into any other game and know it's a game. I know my job. I mean, I don't need to hype up or anything like that just because I know what to do. I mean, just no titles.
Yeah, that's the attitude you should take. Now,
that's a great answer.
Yeah, it really is. Now, I heard through the grapevine that you like to take out quarterbacks out of the game. Talk about what you guys did last year as far as the number of quarterbacks you took out.
I mean, yeah, it's cool taking them out. Just seeing that they have to gimp off or something like that. definitely nothing's intentional. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
everything is. I mean, not to make the guy like paralyzed or anything. I mean, that's just messed up. But I'm trying to get. I mean, I have a job, and my job is to quarterback and make tackles for loss and all that stuff. So if it happens to happen, I mean, I guess his offensive lineman just hated him for some reason or something, and just had him to let him go, or he just held on to the ball too long, and that's usually the case. I mean, once he starts swarming the quarterback, it's usually 1-2 go, 1-2 go, 1-2 go. I mean, they don't want to sit in the pocket because they know what's going to happen. But as far as last year, I mean, Christ, we took out probably a good 7 or 8 quarterbacks. I know we took out Mid-America's number 1 quarterback that was on a run play or something like that.
Yeah.
And I know we took out 3 quarterbacks for sure, and Avila, they ended up going to their 4th-string quarterback. I'm not sure who he is, but he was definitely a runner. He liked to run the ball, so maybe they might. Well, I mean, they possibly are probably trying to stick with that more of Auburn style or Oregon style or something like that, going to triple option. But I mean, we just weren't prepared for a 4th-string quarterback. We thought he was going to start in pocket. But yeah, I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I mean, I just love, getting that shot off. And if it happens, I feel terrible. I mean, for the guy that had to happen, because I would like to hit him some more. But other than that, I mean, everything actually is. I mean, it's definitely not intentional to take somebody out of the game because, like I said, I would rather hit him more.
Well, Trevor, let me ask you. I'm assuming it's only fair to say that if a quarterback's rolling out, if a quarterback's coming out of the pocket, or just standing there, you want to hit him the same way you're going to hit, an offensive lineman, a running back, a fullback coming at you. I mean, last time I checked, everyone on the field is free play. If they can't take a hit, unfortunately, that's just the game of football. And, I think it would be fair to say that, you have a fair respect for every team. I can only assume you have a fair respect for the way you tackle everyone.
Absolutely. I definitely pride myself in taking on pulls. I've met plenty of guys, especially on offense, on their offensive line, they have pulling guards, and they're pulling tackles too. I love it. I mean, if I see a down block, I'm going to take that guy out. I mean, I don't care if he doesn't have the ball or not. I'm going to take that dude out if that's my job, and my job is to long arm. And if anything, I'd rather just put my face mask up into his chin because, I have so much more momentum than those guys because they have to go be in a 3-point stance and turn their body a quarter turn and start running at 300 pounds, 280 plus pounds. It's hard to get that body moving. Well, I'm already in my set stance, angled to read the tackle, and if I see a down block, I'm taking off. So, I have such much more momentum than the other guy. I always say, the reason why a lot of guys get hurt is if they tackle somebody, or if they get hit by a fullback, or if a quarterback gets hit, or something like that, or if it's a running back on a linebacker or something like that. Whoever applies the most force is going to get hurt less, and that's what I try to do. I explain it like this: it's like I never get hit. I always hit that person. Because I always try to apply more force than that guy is applying force to me. And that's why, that's usually kind of why I kind of credit my staying healthy, is because I go in there balls a-blazing every single time, trying to apply as much force into that hit. And it's worked out for the good pretty much. Yeah. And but it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really matter if they had the ball or not. If it's my job to take that dude out, then so be it.
Yeah, Trevor, can I give you a nickname right now on air?
Go for it.
The Professor. How does that work? But
I like that.
Seriously, the last question from me, and you were named a BSN All-American. What does that honor mean to you?
At first, I thought it was, honestly, I didn't know what to think about it because I was second team all conference. I didn't know I was eligible to get something like that, especially first team. When I saw somebody got 17 conference, I was like, okay. And that was the end of the road. On to my senior year, no ends or ands or buts about it. So when I saw it, I was just kind of taken aback a little bit because I didn't know if it was real or not. And then I started looking at it, and I was, oh crap, this is legit. I mean, I don't know what to say. But when I got it, oh my gosh, I was on cloud nine.
Yeah.
Just absolutely, and I'm still there. I mean, I feel like I will never come down. I mean, to have somebody that actually sees that and is able to recognize that, I mean, it just makes me want to keep going harder and harder and harder. Because, I mean, I think the best way to motivate people is by a little recognition. I mean, there's nothing big, but to know that people have faith in other people, I mean, it's an awesome motivator.
Yeah, well, you definitely earned it. You definitely earned this honor. We're proud to have you.
Hey, you know what? Trevor, I'm gonna end with this. Talk about your time at Central Methodist and how you ended up there. Why did you choose that school?
Oh, okay. It's kind of a weird scenario. Coach Ford coached up in North Dakota for a while. I mean, up in Mayville State, also in AIA. Mm-hmm. And he coached a young man named Matt Hovey, and he ended up being an assistant coach with Coach Ford, and then he decided to branch out. So he ended up coming to my high school and being a defensive coordinator in my high school at my senior year. He recommended the school. He sent my film out. I mean, I didn't even realize that I was going to play college football just because, I mean, I got hurt my first 4 games in high school. My senior year, I didn't, and we're not really a football town. So I didn't really know what to think about it. I didn't know whether or not I was going to play. I just wanted to play. But he called me up a couple of days after our season, and he told me, "I hope you're ready to play some college football." And I was like, "All right, sounds good." So I ended up getting a few letters, and Coach Ford just kept freaking calling me every single dang day. I mean, I started recognizing this number, and I'll just delete it at some points. But it turned out that I came over there for a visit because it's like, all right, if anyone's willing to call me this many times, I might as well just pay the visit. I went over there, visited for a little bit. Then, I mean, I spent the night there, and then took off. I mean, I got to meet all the coaches. And it was during spring break, so I mean, there wasn't a lot of players there, but there was still a bunch of players. So I got to meet them, and it was so cool. I mean, I didn't really know what to think about it. It was just a visit. But it was definitely just another way to find another 4 years of football because, I mean, I was in a bad place. I mean, just mentally, and I didn't really know what to think about it. I got there, and I got to meet all the coaches, and I took off. And then that was pretty much it. I mean, like I said, it was just another 4 years. I wanted football. They wanted it. They offered me a scholarship, and that was it. And then little did I know how much of an effect it would have on me because I've told these guys it. I mean, absolutely. If I didn't go to the school, I don't know where I would be mentally. Every single one of those players and every single one of those coaches had a part in absolutely saving my life because, I mean, I couldn't tell you. You can ask any one of those coaches that was the weirdest, I mean, just standing in a corner, it's like, don't talk to me kind of kid. And I just hated the world for no particular reason, but, I mean, it's definitely opened me up. And I've loved every bit of it. I mean, like I said, they without a doubt, they saved my life. Good.
Well, I'd say, Trevor, that's a hell of a story. I think Kerry's right on with calling you the professor because I think, you went from high school, here you are 4 years later with one heck of a career ahead of you, whether it's going into pro football, into coaching or whatever. Obviously, you've applied yourself to this game, to the knowledge of the position. personally, I've learned a lot. I know that Kerry has as well. And, we just want to say best of luck. We're going to be following you this year. And, this is going to be interesting to see how many quarterbacks you decide to have for lunch.
Mm-hmm. Well, appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on, Trevor.
Yep.
All right, take care.